picture? 'Cause
I don't know. I'll try to find it.
I don't have it in my, I can't find it. Maybe this meeting was canceled, or this meeting is done over.
Are we good to go with the TV?
Yep, you're live.
All right, yeah. We call the meeting to order at 6:32 PM.
We'll find it.
Make a motion to open? So moved.
All right,
Second up.
so we've got Kim on the phone, so we're going to have to do roll call votes. So, motion and a second to open the meeting. I'll call for the vote. Linda? Linda?
Yes.
Yes. Ed?
Yes.
DJ?
Yes.
Adam, yes. Patrick?
Yes.
Yes,
Leah, you haven't been sworn in yet, so you can't vote.
okay.
Mike?
Yes.
Elaine?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
All right. And so opened. All right, so first order of business is introduction of the new members that were appointed by the Select Board to fill our openings. We have Leah Crane. If you'd like to say anything, the floor is yours. If not, we'll just,
I'm happy to be here.
all right, excellent. And we have Elaine, I'm not even going to try it, Muse,
Tunisian.
Timesian?
Yeah.
Just say it fast.
Okay, yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
So, point of information, so these two new members are appointed by the Select Board, as you know, and Leah's expertise and representation is for the affordable and community housing piece, and Elaine is representing open space. The Select Board appointed them through June 30th, so, we'll have to see about what we do, whether the Affordable Housing Committee comes back to life and, they can appoint their own. And if we change the bylaw to fold open space into another committee and allow them to appoint two,
Yeah, I think we'll get into that as the
Yeah.
year progresses here and decide
Right.
how we want to attack it.
Right, but, so Leah isn't sworn in, as you say,
Yeah.
yet, so she won't participate in the meeting other than listening and discussion.
All right. Anybody else? All right, so.
Welcome. Welcome.
Welcome.
To the new members.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice to see a full board.
Who, is Kim here? No.
Kim's on the phone.
Oh, Kim on the phone. All right.
I'm basically on vacation in Florida, and
This is a great way to do it.
I've got four people waiting to go to dinner. So as soon as I can get off this meeting, I'll be very happy. Thank you.
All right, we'll pick up the pace.
We won't add extra items.
All right, so next item for discussion, Ed, this is something that you would ask to put on there about a vice chair for the CPC?
Yeah, I was thinking it over, and the CPC committee, to my knowledge, never had a vice chairman, but I think that's important, and, to assist the chairman, or if the chairman not able to go, to run the meeting. And I'd like to nominate Kim Jackson for vice chair of the CPC committee.
I'd like to be heard if it's okay with everybody.
Please.
I'd like to, I think it's a good idea. I think what Ed says is right. I think it's important to have some assistance on the situation, especially with Adam being new at this, and, he's doing a fine job, but certainly, logistics and things of that nature, would be helpful to have somebody else. And so I would enthusiastically recommend that Mike Dempsey be the vice chair, because he's got a wealth of experience doing this exact committee. He's very invested in it. He understands the purpose of it, and, you know, for years and years has tried to effectuate projects through it. I can think of no better person to assist and help get everybody up to speed, especially with a new chair.
Are both parties willing to take on the role? I don't know what conversations have been had, so, Ed, if you made a recommendation for Kim, I don't know if Kim knew that anything yet, or if he was willing to, and same with Mike, if the people who are nominated are willing. I just wanted, before we start having conversations, because I think there isn't anybody on the board that wouldn't be willing to step up and do whatever we have to do and support the new chair. Mike is, I think, a good choice, being that he's been doing it for a number of years, and it's really a support role, which could be helpful to you, Mr. Chair. But however it works out is fine with me. We all kind of work together anyway. This is just a role that, in case there's a conflict of some sort, if you're putting a presentation forward and someone needs to step away, whatever the case may be. So ultimately, I think we're all here for the right reason. So whomever it is, I think will play a good role. So.
This is Kim. I'd like to make a small statement. Prior to Andy being appointed chair, elected chair, Andy and I had talked, and I had volunteered 6 months ago or 8 months ago to be the chair, which then it got delayed and so forth. And basically, I told Andy that I would support him in anything that he wanted to do, if he wanted to take it on, and he was very enthusiastic. So I'm still stating that position, that I'll be more than glad to fill in and or anything as like a vice chair. And we had discussions with Mike a long time ago, and he basically said that he was kind of burnt out and tired, and was looking for some new blood. So Mike's done a good job over X number of years, but I think that I think Andy's going to do a good job, and any other new appointees, everybody's going to jump in. So that's it. So I'll be more than glad to be a vice chair, but we'll let the board decide.
Sure.
So, I didn't know how informal a phone would have to be, so do
I'm pretty
You
loose.
raise your hand when you have a question, like I'm a teacher, so.
Yeah, hand raise is fine.
Hi, Kim, I'm Elaine Hughes, I'm new to the board. I'm sorry I don't know you, but have you been on this committee for a long time? Do you have a lot of experience?
Your mic was muted. I don't think he heard you.
Oh,
Oh,
there you go.
Who's being addressed?
sorry, Kim, I didn't realize I had to press a button to speak. I'm Elaine, I'm new to the board. I'm representing Open Space. And my question to you, because this is all new, so it's with all due respect, please don't take it any other way. I was just curious to know what your background and experience were on this board.
Okay. I am on the Groveland Housing Authority as the state appointed by the governor from the state. I've served on the Bagnell School Building Committee for 6 years, the Pentucket High School Committee for 7 years, was a volunteer firefighter in town for 17 years, and an alternate to the Conservation Committee for just a short period of time. and my 48 years in construction background gives me a little of different point of view sometimes for any of the projects that are being submitted with details and making sure that whoever's submitting the project has got all the bases covered to make sure that when it goes to the town floor that sum of money that they're requesting will cover the project in entirety. I hope that might answer some of your questions.
Yes, thank you very much. I have another question.
Elaine, you press it once, it turns green, you don't have to hold it. You just leave it on now, it'll pick it up when you talk.
Oh, okay.
Happy
So I
days.
don't have to press it.
It's fine, it's fine.
So do other boards have co-chairs?
I think most other boards have vice chairs.
Okay.
I know, I can speak for the finance board, we do.
Planning board does as well.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. I just wondered if that was.
Select
There,
board
it's
does.
vice chair, so it would be someone who would step up for the chairman if the chairman couldn't perform or had to step away.
Okay.
At this, yep, go ahead.
So since neither candidate has been seconded, I would like to nominate DJ McNulty for vice chair.
And DJ is you.
No, DJs.
Oh, I'm
DJ.
sorry.
That's okay.
I'll learn. Maybe
No,
we'll
it's-
be name tag.
No apology necessary.
Well, Mike, I think DJ, DJ endorsed you.
Yes, I know, but
This, the endorser endorsing the endorsee?
that's okay, but.
I accept.
Second.
I'm actually going to second Kim. Him and I have a good relationship. I think he would be a good fit for that role.
Could someone else second another nomination?
Well, I'll
or-
second DJ.
Well, so we're going to vote on what's been motioned and seconded. We'll have discussion on it, and then we'll vote on it and go from there.
So you can't,
So we're open for discussion if you'd like to say something.
okay, so right now, the way it stands is that if Kim is voted in or not, is not voted in, then it would go to somebody else. And if
Yeah.
he was voted in, then there'd be.
The end.
Okay.
I thought there were, this was the nominating portion of
Right.
the
I
part
didn't
where
know it was the voting.
it's where, I don't think that piece has been closed yet.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think you had to jump the gun to say, oh, yeah, I'm seconding it, because then I'm thinking then,
No, and I'm not, well, saying no one's been seconded, I'll second somebody.
Right.
and
okay, but why can't we second somebody, too?
You can.
You can do anything you
Oh,
want.
okay.
We're open for, now that it's been motioned and seconded, now we can have a discussion.
Oh,
on it
I
before
see,
we take
so
a
it's
vote.
not
So
seconded
So Adam
for,
seconded Kim,
right,
and
we
I
don't
just
know it.
seconded DJ.
Okay.
okay.
And then if someone wants to second Mike,
Okay, well, I'll second Mike.
Okay.
then we have,
A three-way race.
So I'll go back to my original statement. Kim had said yes, that he would be interested. Mike, are you interested? I know you've been around a long time, you have no problem taking a step back, and you're still here all the time anyway for support. So before we have to go back and forth, and right now we have 3 people up, so we can dwindle down if that's something that you're willing, not willing, not that you're always willing, but if it's something, hey, if other people are willing to step up.
yeah, if you're not interested in running, then I'm happy to withdraw my nomination. You don't want
Yes,
to be, you don't want
so I'll withdraw my name for that.
to. Okay,
Okay. Trying to help out a little bit.
no, that's good.
Appreciate you.
2 seconds there.
All right, so where are we at? Mike nominated DJ, you seconded that, but you nominated Mike.
Yes,
Ed nominated Kim, I'll second that.
right.
So where do
So
we
we
go
have,
from
we
here?
have 2 candidates that have been nominated and seconded.
Anyone else interested?
Right? Anyone else can run if they want? I do not want to run.
Me either.
I'm a nice guy.
No,
This
I'm
is a-
happy to work with you. This-
All right, well, I guess then to just move it along, we'll take a vote on Kim first, and then we'll go from there, since he was seconded first. So again, roll call vote,
Well, isn't it, you vote for the person that you would think should be the chair, instead of, you wouldn't be like,
Yeah, maybe hands for Kim and hands for me,
Right.
so to speak. instead of
Okay.
Going back and forth.
sure, we can.
I
Yeah, I don't know.
I've never done it either, so we've never had to have
There must
All right.
Conversation.
Well, because he's on the phone, we can't do hands.
Okay.
Correct, yeah.
So we got to do a roll call. So what I'll do is I'll
So
call you, DJ or Kim. And
Okay,
we'll
yeah.
go from there.
That's fine.
Linda?
DJ or Kim?
DJ or Kim?
DJ or Kim for,
Ed?
Kim.
DJ?
I guess I have to vote for myself, be kind of DJ.
I'm gonna throw me for Kim. Patrick?
I'll vote for DJ.
Mike?
DJ,
I forgot my hearing aid.
Elaine?
DJ?
Kim?
Kim,
4 and 4.
Split. Because we only had 8 people. The 9th isn't sworn in yet.
It's 4 and 4, right?
I'll motion to table this to next meeting.
I'll second that.
Hold on a second. No, hold on, because I either missed somebody or,
No, we don't have a 9th sworn in, so we have an even number.
oh, I didn't write down Elaine, that's why. Okay,
Because if we waited, then Elaine would be the tiebreaker,
yep.
or we can have a discussion now.
I'm fine with either one of you doing it, really.
Yeah.
I have, any assistance
Yeah.
is good, so,
And everyone is offered to be an assistant.
yeah.
So Mike is voted at the table until the next meeting. I have seconded that motion.
All right, well, then
To
let's,
have an odd number, I guess.
yeah,
that-
let's,
Non-number, right.
all right, so let's,
I could gladly step away, but seeing that I have supporters. that-
entirely,
you know what I
entirely up
mean?
to you.
So
I don't know, yeah, no one asked you if you wanted to take it on.
No, I said I accept.
Oh,
Yeah, I do.
fair
I don't mind. Always willing to help out, so.
Yep. All right, so we got a motion and a second to table it, so we'll take a vote on tabling it. Linda?
Second table.
Ed?
Yes.
TJ?
Yes.
Adam, yes. Patrick?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Kim?
yes.
Elaine?
Yes.
All right, and so moved on to the next one. All right, next up on the agenda is establish a subcommittee for tax exemption. I believe we voted on this last meeting to establish the committee, so if we want to have a little discussion on how that committee is going to operate, how many people do we want to have on it? TJ, this is kind of your thing, so if you want to run with it, please.
Yeah, it's something that I had heard from the public saying that it was a difficult task to sign up to get tax exemption from the CPC fund. So I just thought it would be a nice thing for them to have a contact within the board to be able to reach out to and support. Willing to head that with a couple other people. I have some ideas. I meant to print out the actual bylaws around what you needed, but if I could probably create some type of form that is easily accessible. Someone could go in, punch in a bunch of data that we need, do some type of checklist to say, hey, this is what you need, this is must-haves, this is a nice-to-have now. We can always look into it, but then kind of go from there. So that's kind of my early thought process behind it. Create a matrix around what people need in order to support, willing to be part of it, whether it's and my other thought was, do we make it a task for the vice chair to spearhead, whomever the vice chair is, to spearhead that, they lead that subcommittee, and then we have the members that are part of it, just the thought that I had as well.
How many people are you thinking?
I would say at least 3, maybe 4, I mean, I would think that's probably a good number.
Didn't we, last time, I think Adam was talking about how it was tough to navigate the website stuff, and then did that get resolved? Do we know that?
I talked to the assessor, she was going to do it, whether she has completed it or not, I didn't check.
All right, I can check to see if, Mike?
So on the CPC website, there is the form, the description of what you need to do for the tax exemption from CPA. And so I printed that out, and it's pretty complete about what you have to do. Typically, you have to go to the assessor's office and provide proof about your income, your household income. And then I also printed out the latest numbers.
Do they,
So-
is that for fiscal year '25, or are they still running '24?
Yeah, no, these are the latest. So what's on this form is for 2023, and then the numbers are here for 2024, which will cover us for another year. So if you want to pass that down to DJ, and once we get that updated, we can at least put that on the website.
I would think it would be enough for a person who's, interested enough to at least look at the website to say, oh, okay, I see that there's this form and this information, and maybe even just a reference that, contact DJ McNulty, for further assistance. I don't think we need to have a bunch of folks, other than, like if there's a groundswell of people and it gets to be too overwhelming, but if there's a website that says go here, and then there's a contact person, I don't know what else you can do as far as outreach on this sort of thing. Our job is not to undermine the funding for the CPC, it's to enhance it, but it is also reasonable to, let people know the full story about what, like if they want to opt out, things like that.
Yeah.
So that's, my 2 cents.
No, I agree, and I did not read the website, and I apologize, but it does say here, help is available in large bold letters, help is available to complete your application. Just call or stop by the assessor's office. So, I can take that on my own. We don't necessarily have to have a subcommittee. I can just go, and then we can just have a signed point of contact, or that we could even have it as a chair, and then you could delegate to whomever to say, hey, can you help out with this, if there's anything you can do, kind of if we need to do that. But there is support. I guess we could just call it out to the public, saying that there is support if you do need help, to go to the assessor's office, and they can help you with that.
Adam, this is Kim. Can I intervene for a second?
Please.
I still have 4 people waiting to go to dinner. I'd like to be excused from this meeting, please.
Can we agree that it's unanimous that King can go have dinner with his friends?
Thank you.
We appreciate that you came, even so.
Okay, well, I will see you
Next time.
at the next scheduled meeting, but I had basically this vacation, the tickets were bought 7 months ago, so, and there was no refund, so I went.
Kim, everyone
So,
understands.
Understood. Thank you for joining.
Okay, take care. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I don't feel bad for him being in Florida and going to dinner.
No, I really don't either. So I guess what I'm seeing is we, maybe instead of having a subcommittee, we just have a liaison for tax exemption. And I'm going to go ahead and make the motion that be DJ.
Yeah, that seems very smart. Second.
Hey, I'm just
No.
steering the ship. Credit where credit is
I
due.
agree with you.
All right.
So what I'll do is I'll reach out to the assessor, let her know
Yeah.
that if there's any additional assistance that's needed, or, who knows that if we have it out there now, people are watching the meeting live or recorded, that they can now know someone that they can reach out to, so they can reach out to the Groveland assessors, and then the assessor I will reach out to let her know that if there's any additional help that she would need, she or he would need, then I would be glad to help.
Adam, do we need to vote on that if it was seconded?
Yep, so after it's seconded, there's discussion.
Okay, so this is the discussion
And then we can
part.
vote on
Okay,
it.
Sorry, thanks.
Yes, Mike?
So, I think it's important to make sure that people understand that they can get an exemption, I think I mentioned this before, at the last meeting anyway, about the low number of people who have actually applied for an exemption. And somebody else said, well, that just goes to show you that, we're not putting enough information out there. I don't think that that's the case. I think probably most people either, don't want to go to the effort, or maybe they're reluctant to reveal their income to somebody else. But you know, I think that by having one person who can answer questions, because the assessor can only answer questions about the exemption itself, but someone on the board can answer what the CPA is for, and maybe that convinces somebody that maybe they, even though they want to get an exemption, they won't do it. So I think it's good to have somebody who's willing to help the assessor.
And Council on Aging also says here that can help you determine if you qualify as well.
Yeah.
Any other conversation, discussion? All right, so we're going to take a vote on making DJ the liaison for the tax exemption. Kim's gone, so now we can just do show of hands. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Aye.
All right. Next up, we have the CPC Administrator job description, which I believe we were workshopping around a little bit, and then I believe at last stop, it was, we kind of wanted some input from Rebecca. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here this evening. So,
This is something we should table until she can present on it.
I will take a motion on that.
I'll motion to table this until the next meeting, so that Rebecca has a chance to explain a little bit about what her thought process is.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right. Next up, discussion on how to make completed projects assets for the town. I think we ended this one at about the same spot.
Yeah, I think so too. And, you know, I mean, as a general role, I think our job isn't to, you know, go downstream about how things happen after, you know, after they're approved and whatnot. It's more along the lines of, we look at these proposals, and I mean, at the time of the proposal, we can say, well, this looks like this will be helpful in these various ways. That's part of the evaluation process. So I don't know that there's, you know, additional than the kind of voting on projects part that, you know, really fulfills our role about this.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's something that you would ask to put on there. So
Right,
do-
so,
Are
yeah.
you done with it?
I'm done with that aside from the, you know,
Aside
general
from-
concept of we are voting on these things and we're gonna take that kind of thing into consideration, of course.
All right. Anybody else have any input on that?
I'd like to hear Rebecca's input on this, because I'd talked to her about this before, and she had brought it up. So maybe we can, you know,
Table
keep
it.
it on there for next time.
Table it along with the other.
Table,
Yeah.
all right.
Okay,
All right, I'll take a motion.
gonna move to table it.
Yeah, motion to table.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. All right. All right, discussion on the Washington Hall project, outstanding $6,400 fiscal year '25 expense. We had talked about this at the last meeting. I believe Mike had made a motion to cover it from administrative funds, but I had a question as to what that $6,400 was actually for, before we decided to do anything with it. I was really hoping Rebecca could weigh in on this, because, I mean, we asked the applicant, and she didn't know what it was for at the last meeting. So I'm going to say we should probably go ahead and table this one as well. So I will make the motion to table this until Rebecca can weigh in at the next meeting.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Kim should have hung on, we're almost done. All right, next up, discussion on reimbursement to town if highway department is used for CPA project. Was this you, DJ? that
No,
asked for this on there?
I think when Pat spoke about his project that he was going to submit, the comment from, I don't know if it was the highway department, but the electrical department was going to volunteer their time.
Yes.
So then it was like, we were thinking about how do they volunteer their time if it's a town entity, and how is their reimbursement, right, through the projects that are submitted and the cost and things like that. So I think that's where it stemmed from. I don't know if I asked it or not, but.
Fair enough.
I did actually, I asked Annie, and I think she was going to confirm, and I was under the understanding that whether it's the water, light, they're a separate entity of the town. So if something's done, they bill the town pays the bill. It's not it's a separate.
So they're
bill.
almost a contractor of sorts?
So that if they do work for the town, they just don't bill the town. So then that's the volunteer aspect of it, that we wouldn't get a bill and have to
So-
fill their funds.
So technically, taxpayers are not paying them to come
Correct.
do this work.
So that's,
But
to my
the highway
understanding.
department is a completely different operation because we are paying them.
we are correct. So
Salary.
I asked about the lighting department because I think it stemmed from your lighting question of them
Yeah.
volunteering for Down the Pines. I don't know about how the highway department.
So we think so for that project at least, we think it is true volunteerism that doesn't affect like them. This is after the stuff that they are contracted to do.
She did say we need to talk to the lighting department and how
Just to-
that works.
sure.
But as far as the lighting, but is the highway department, I don't know if that
I don't know.
becomes- The CPC fund has to,
I don't know that it can.
yeah, I don't know, yeah.
I feel like almost you need town council to weigh in on that.
Or Rebecca to even answer. Mike has his hand up, so he may have.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I did research this with the Community Preservation Coalition, the director there, Stuart Saginaw. So I sent him an email asking him, if other town departments could be reimbursed for their time. So he said, this was his response: "No CPA funds can ever be used to pay for time incurred by a town employee for any reason. This is prohibited by the no supplanting rule in Section 6 of the Community Preservation Act. You would be supplanting general municipal funds by offsetting a portion of their salary, and no CPA funds can ever find their way back to a non-CPA town account. The no supplanting rules are one of the bedrock rules of CPA. The legislature ensured that the program would be for new initiatives, not to supplement or replace general fund money." So,
That sounds like a.
Sounds like a
Steadfast
resounding
no.
no.
Can you forward that to everybody, please?
sure.
Sounds like we have our answer.
Well, we,
Back to the
thank
chair
you.
there.
I think that that's something, because as we go through on, and the next thing is updates on projects, past projects that are ongoing, and, the highway department is tied to doing some of these. And I think this begs the question that, if we can't pay the highway department to do it, and we're taking them away from what they should do,
Yeah,
that
we
going
shouldn't
forward,
be
we should
using
not
them.
be using the highway
Right.
department.
Yes, I agree.
So, all right, I think that, anybody else have any discussion on that? Would like to say anything on it?
Can I see the letter?
Oh, yes. Yes, sir. All right, next up, we have the town administrator proposed projects.
Make a
Unfortunately,
motion to table.
I've got the information.
Oh, all right.
Unfortunately, Rebecca couldn't make it, but she was kind enough to provide
Sweet.
updates and proposals of what she's working on this year. So I'm gonna do my best to work our way through it. I'm gonna start at the back and then work forward, if that's okay with you guys, just to follow along with the agenda here. With the proposed projects. So for fiscal year 2025, I, Rebecca, have focused my efforts on two upcoming proposals. Number one being a housing repair program. Many larger communities have access to funding sources like community development block grants, which they use to support a variety of initiatives, including housing repairs for income-eligible residents. The proposal is to establish a similar program using CPC funds. The CPC request will be for funding to engage a consultant who can help design and structure a program, providing a clear framework for us to use to move forward. The second proposal is inclusionary zoning bylaw. We currently have an inclusionary zoning bylaw that allows developers to make a payment to a fund instead of creating affordable units. These funds are held in an account and can only be accessed by the Housing Trust and the Groveland Housing Authority. However, since the town does not have its own housing trust, this creates some challenges. The proposal is to allocate funds to hire a consultant who can explore options for accessing these funds or propose creative solutions for partnering with the Groveland Housing Authority to make use of them. I think those are both excellent projects, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them come through. All right, and then we've got the town administrator updates on current projects. And then I've got a list of in her memo, she also provided a list of the expired projects and her input on those. So I think I want to start with those, and we'll go through each project one at a time, and then we'll have some conversation on it and decide if it's a project that we want to just close and return the monies to where they came from, or if it's something we'd like to leave open and move to town meeting to get an extension on. So the first one is conservation restrictions, approved at the 2013 town meeting with an expiration date of 2021 for the amount of $23,198. I'm going to guess, Mike, you might know something about this.
Yes, so, what is she saying here? These are ones that are expired, correct?
These are ones that are expired, so if we'd like to spend that money, right now, they're all on hold.
Right.
If we'd like to spend that money, we have to go back to town meeting and get approval to extend the project, or we can just close them and resubmit on them as new projects, or just close them and they can go away.
Yes, so on the first two, the conservation
Let's
restrictions.
just do them one at a time, please,
Yeah,
just to
okay.
keep it simple.
Well, on both of those, I would just say they're expired, and if the Conservation Commission wants to do something along those lines, we'll put a new project in.
All right, so the conservation restrictions are expired, and do you speak for the Conservation Committee?
Yes.
You have
Yep,
no interest in extending that?
no.
All right, so I'm going to make a motion that we close the conservation restrictions project and return the money to the open space category.
Second.
Mr. Chair, just so you know, we should probably just read through the whole thing to make sure that it's on file, that we're saying, okay,
Fair enough.
you know what I mean, just to be covered.
All right, so let me amend the motion. A motion to close the conservation restrictions 2013 town meeting expires 6/30/21, and that is account 2404-122-52-120-052 in the amount of $23,198.
Second?
All those in favor?
Discussion?
Yes, sir.
Because these were passed by town meeting vote, whether you extend it or whether you say it's not needed anymore, does that have to go back to a town meeting vote? Where the town meeting?
If, it has to go back to town meeting if it is needed. If it's not needed, we can just close them out as a project that hit its expiration date and didn't happen. Any other discussion?
So, yeah, so they wouldn't be able to use it regardless unless we went back to town meeting. So, and I guess with most of these, you would hope that we would have a response from whomever the project owner is that says whether they would like an extension, or they can close it and resubmit if needed, which, at least with the first two, we know that they're willing to resubmit if needed. So that's a good thing.
Yep.
Wouldn't make it more
Follow-up
difficult.
question.
Yes, sir.
If, and I don't know which ones, but I know some of these may have been passed by a citizen's petition. Does that?
I don't think,
change it?
I don't think that changes anything.
I believe the only issue is that expiration date. You know, because they have an expiration date, town council said they have expired, even though we didn't believe that to be the case previously. But previously, the previous town council told us that had no effect. But our current town council says it does have an effect. So if we go with that current advice, then they have expired, and really our only decision is just to close them out, return the money.
Or to resubmit them.
Yeah, or.
Or to ask for an extension.
Right, exactly.
At the next town meeting.
Yes.
Right.
Any other discussion?
So they would have already told us if they, I mean, I don't know if you're the one that would say it, but
What?
if it's been expired for this number of years, do you just assume it's not needed? I mean, there's no formal way where they say, okay, we're returning this money, we don't need it.
No,
I think we're cleaning
cleaning
up
house.
some old things that have happened a long time ago, and just sort of.
Okay,
like,
kinda catch
Just
up.
closing the book
Closing out
on
the
it.
ledger.
Okay.
So that everything going
No,
forward
that's
is
good.
fresh.
Okay.
So, yeah. I
Thank
think-
you.
Yeah,
Clean, okay. That was my question, too. Thank you.
good question.
All right, I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor of closing this project?
Aye.
Unanimous, closed. All right, next up, I'm going to make the motion to close the Johnson's Pond weed removal, 2017 annual town meeting, expired 6/30/20, account number 240412252122052.
Second.
Any conversation on this one?
I think it's the same. I think Mike
Yeah.
said it was the same situation as the other.
Yep.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Unanimous. All right. Next up, we have the Vito Hand Tub Museum.
I think Kim was really interested in that as a potential to resubmit.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a committee that's working on that now, and,
Are they going to submit it as a new project, or do you know if they're going to go for an extension on this current project?
In the hall there?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that I don't know, probably an extension of the project rather than a new submission.
Should we wait? Should we?
Yeah, we'll hold on that.
Table it, yeah.
Yeah, we'll hold that one until we hear back.
So motion to table, preservation of Vito Hand Tub Museum, 2017 town meeting, expired 6/30/2020, number 2404-122-52123-052.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Look at us agreeing on stuff.
Easy peasy.
All right, next one up is window control and parking lot improvement at Washington Hall.
Window control. That locks.
Does-
What is that?
I don't know this one. I can reach out to Claire and kind of see if she's done with it, but, so, without an actual, knowing if they're gonna go forward or not, I'm gonna make the motion to table this one as well.
Sounds good.
So motion to table window control and parking lot improvement, Washington Hall, 2018 town meeting, expired June 30th, 2021, number 2404-122-52130-052.
Second?
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Open space and rec trails.
Feels like Mike might know something about this.
Yes. Well, why don't you say, this will go to annual town meeting to extend it?
Can you just fill us in a little bit on what it is?
It was work on the recreation trails through many of the conservation-controlled properties.
And what's that, just making the trails, maintaining them?
You know, creating bridges, signage, anything relating to improving the trails in their use.
All right, so, and you're gonna seek to extend that?
Yes.
All right, so we can,
Adam, just a question from Mike.
Yep.
On page 2, under projects to close, as they listed a trail project and a, well, the UTV for the community trail, that could be closed because they didn't get the grant. But what's listed here as a project to close, the trail project, is that anything related to this one that we're looking at now?
No, the one on page 2 is the community trail.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to hold open for possible extension at town meeting, the open space and rec trails 2019 ATM expired 6/30/2022, 2404-122-52-155-052.
Seconded.
any more discussion on that? Call for the vote, all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? All right, and then you're putting a new project forward for this last one, right?
Yes, so I would say we should just close this one out.
All right, so I will make a motion to close the Acquire 733 Salem Street 2019 Annual Town Meeting, expires 6/30/2020. Count number 2404-122-52165-052 in the amount of $19,280 being put back into the open space category.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? And so closed.
There's one more on the carryover.
Oh,
Sneaky.
the page break got me. I thought we were done with this. Historic Document Management System at the library. Feel
Yeah,
like-
they decided not to do this project.
All right, well, if that's the case, I will make a motion to close the installing a historic management system at library 6/22/20 annual town meeting, expires 6/30/2023, account number 2404-122-52175-052 in the amount of $24,277.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
That's about,
And closed.
what is that, about 87,000? Back to the,
Back to the office.
I had a random question on this. So now that we've closed out those and we've extended a few, so the path forward, If they don't extend this year, do next year we automatically remove it and
I mean,
vote to close? Is there a process?
I
I know this
think-
is new.
I think, we just have a conversation with whoever the project manager is and,
Find out what they
ask them
do.
if they want to go forward with it. If they don't, we close it at the next meeting. If they would like to, then so be it.
And then resubmit, and then resubmit for the next.
Sounds good?
Does somebody keep track of all the projects? Is that what the town manager does, like with
Yes.
dates? Okay,
Yep.
so all we'd have to do is look at and see what's coming up, what's expiring.
There's-
On the website, it's really,
Okay.
it's getting quite detailed
Oh.
as far as what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe there's any more with expiration dates, because I think they did away with adding the expiration dates at a particular point in time.
Is that a good thing?
I don't know. I personally don't think so.
Yeah,
But
'cause I-
we've had conversations
Yeah.
about it, and the board's split on it, so
Oh, okay.
some things take longer than others,
Right.
but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd like to have project updates.
Yes,
Not just kinda
well,
hanging around.
and which we
With
do.
these.
Well, in case in point, I mean, so again, with the idea that we're like forward-looking now, we're not having projects from
Exactly.
10 years ago.
Right.
Like, so the splash pad, which we're about to talk about, is one of those projects that, we thought it was one thing and it turned out to be something else, and so this is people being proactive about it, and, it's not gonna just sit around for someone to hope to move it forward at some point, so.
Yep. So moving on with Rebecca's update here, projects are closed. Below is an update on projects that have been completed and accounts closed in recent months. So these are already closed. The trail project, remaining funds from the trail project were intended to be transferred into escrow in 2021. However, this transfer was not completed as planned. We will be addressing this oversight promptly. Once the transfer is made, the project will have no remaining funds and the account should be closed. The UTV for the community trail, this project should have been closed in 2023 as we did not successfully receive the Mass DCR grant for the CPC allocation was to be used as a match for. The account should be closed. Splash pad project. The initial budget allocated for the splash pad project is insufficient to cover the full scope of work. Upon a detailed review of the original contractor's quote, it became clear that the estimate only addressed the basic infrastructure of the splash pad itself, excluding critical costs such as site preparation and utility connections. After consulting with the second contractor, we received a more comprehensive and accurate estimate that aligns with current industry standards. Our projects and programs manager has thoroughly reviewed the updated proposal and concurs that it offers a more realistic cost projection. As a result, we will not be moving forward with the project. The account should be closed. Although we are closing the project at this time, I have shared the updated information with the Rec Committee for their review. Given the master plan survey and community feedback strongly support the splash pad feature, they may choose to pursue a new application for additional funding if desired. Should future interest arise, the updated project proposal will be available for consideration. And then we've got the basketball court project at the Pines. This project has been successfully completed with no remaining funds. The associated account should be closed.
When we say, we don't have to close these out, we don't need to vote for all these to close out,
I think I was just going to package them all up together and say close the accounts
Okay.
on account of the.
based on the recommendation.
Based on the recommendation. So I'll make a motion to close the following projects based on the town administrator's recommendation.
Mr. Chair, just before you, there's more on the next page, I believe.
Oh, come on. Hold that
And
thought.
actually, so there's like this is the.
Oh,
summary
perfect.
dates.
We'll run right through that at the
Yep.
end. All right. I thought there was more. I read through it earlier, and I'm like, quick, while driving down the highway. All right, VZ Park feasibility study. The consultant has completed the report and will be making a final presentation either later this month or in December, depending on scheduling. The account should be closed. Groveland Housing Authority buy-down program. As part of this project, it was proposed to partner with the Groveland Housing Authority to help implement the affordable housing restrictions. In order to place affordable housing restrictions on a property, a formal process must be followed, which includes selecting potential applicants through a lottery system and developing an affirmative fair marketing plan. These tasks were not ones the town intended to manage directly, which is why the partnership with the Groveland Housing Authority was proposed. They were allocated approximately $8,000 of the requested funds to assist with these efforts, as they have the necessary expertise and it aligns with their mission. However, recent changes in the Groveland Housing Authority's leadership have created challenges, and it has been difficult to collaborate with them to move the project forward. Rebecca had a call with the Groveland Housing Authority on November 12th, where we discussed several topics. Unfortunately, the Groveland Housing Authority does not believe they will be able to assist with this initiative moving forward. These agreements were made under the former director, and with the changes in leadership, the Groveland Housing Authority feels it may not be able to follow through on these prior agreements. That said, we could explore other partnerships, such as with Habitat for Humanity, to develop buy-down options. It may also be in our best interest to return the CPC funds allocated for this program back to the general CPC budget and pursue a different approach. Moving on to fencing at Riverview Cemetery. A fence was installed to separate the new development from the historic cemetery. The funds allocated for this project were intended to provide additional fencing and screening along the property, particularly near the entrance. However, an issue has arisen with the trees along the property line. Since the property line runs through a grouping of trees, it is not feasible to install the fence directly alongside them. To proceed, we would either need to position the fence further in from the trees or seek an agreement with the adjacent property owner to install the fence on their land. The Cemetery Commission has decided not to move forward with either option at this time. Given these complications, it is recommended that the project be closed and the remaining funds be returned.
So to summarize.
I need it.
Yeah, good enough. So to summarize, each of these 5 projects, the recommendation appears to be to close them and return any funds.
Correct. So I guess we'll go through one at a time, just like we did the other ones, and vote to close these. So I will make a motion to close the 4/24/23 Annual Town Meeting Article 22 UTV for the Community Trail, account number 2404-182-522-31052, based on the Town Administrator's recommendation, and return the amount of $10,646 to the general category.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. All right, I will make a motion to close the 4/24/23 Annual Town Meeting Article 25 Pines Splash Pad, account number 2404-182-522-34052, based on the Town Administrator's recommendation, and return the amount of $110,393 to the general category.
Seconded.
Any discussion?
Yes, I want to say that as a father of 3 young children, I'm very disappointed to hear it. I do hope that eventually it goes through. And speaking with a lot of residents and the young family community, they were very excited for that to happen. So hopefully we can find a way to get it. I know that the cost was high, but it was really, I know the kids were excited. So that's all.
I'll say a few things on this as the acting
I need a
chair.
breather.
As the acting chair of the Recreation Committee. I saw what the numbers looked like and then what they turned out to be, and it was an order of magnitude that was really significant. So it sounds like everybody has to go back to the drawing board about it. There was a lot of vitriol from the town about who's going to pay for the water and what's going on with this, and then it was subject to a lot of negative commentary as well. I am also a father in town, would love to see the splash pad eventually come to fruition. But, you know, we definitely want to be responsible about how we put it forward and, you know, when the numbers aren't even remotely appropriate, through no fault of anyone from the town, it just needs to be revisited and sort of reproposed from the get-go.
Awesome. Thank you.
Will you,
Good to know.
will you do that this year?
I wouldn't recommend it for this session, because there's just not a lot of time between now and when the project need to be submitted by year's end. We've got a lot of flux in the Recreation Committee as it is, with the chair resigning and whatnot, so there's some logistics, just, you know, normal logistics that we have to square out, but I would propose, you know, to evaluate it for maybe submission in 2025.
Any further discussion? Call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate it.
All right, moving on, I'll make a motion to close the 4/24/23 Annual Town Meeting, Article Number 32, VZ Park Feasibility Study, account number 240418252239052, and return $500 to the Historic category based on the town administrator's recommendation.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right, I will make a motion to close the 5/24/21 Annual Town Meeting, Article 14, Groveland Housing Authority Buy-Down Program, account number 240418252195052, based on the town administrator's recommendation, and return $408,000 to the housing category.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? All right, and I will make the motion to close the 5/24/21 Annual Town Meeting, Article 18, Fencing at Riverview Cemetery, account number 240418252210052, based on the town administrator's recommendation, and return $3,275 to the Historic category.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
She left off the basketball court one.
I believe,
But
I believe it said there was no money left
Yeah,
on that
so-
one.
So I would say that by default, when a project is empty, that we really don't need, that
I
we
don't-
can assume that they're closed out, right?
Yeah, I think if, she's gonna have a lot of paperwork and housekeeping to do after this one. If she's got a couple more she needs closed out, I don't think holding it till the next meeting is a big deal.
Yeah, because even the trail project, the first one, it just says the account should be closed.
Right.
But it's not on here yet, so.
Yeah, well, I know,
it
she still
needs
had a
be-
transfer
yeah,
to
she's not-
make.
Yeah, exactly. So she's just finishing up.
Yeah.
We have the updates.
No, we're
It's nice.
doing an awful lot of housekeeping, and I
Yeah.
certainly appreciate the effort Rebecca is putting into this to get it where it's gotta go.
Yeah, I was just going to say to the folks at home that, based on the projects we just closed, a total of $532,814 is being returned to the different categories across general, historic, and housing funds.
All right, now we move on to the projects that are in progress. Mike, this first page worth is yours, if you'd like to
Sure.
take the run on it,
Yes, yes.
please. I need a
Yes.
break.
I didn't get to respond to Rebecca's email from about a month ago, but I did work up the current status on these, so I'll give you a quick update on all of them. So the first, the New Mill Pond Phase 1 cleanup and land survey. We had held off on, the only thing that has not been done was a land survey, and we held off on doing it because we were interested in purchasing the abutting property, but that kind of been put on hold, so we may go back and do the land survey. I have to talk with Rebecca again about that, not sure. So the remaining, I think there's $7,296 left in there. And so that will be put toward, that's about approximately the cost of the land survey. The next one is the Crosstown Recreational Trail. This was development of a new trail going from Main Street up to, through Town Forest and connecting to the State Crane Pond Reservation. This one comes from 2021, so it's 3 years old, and no work has been done with it. Kind of got messed up with this because of COVID and everything else. We kind of had to put a lot of the trail work on hold, so the commission is still interested in doing this. No money has been spent on it, and I think it had, $18,000, so that still remains. The AD accessible bathroom and ramp at VZ pretty much has been done. There is $1,350 left in that project, and I'm pretty sure that the director up at VZ wants to look over the original proposal and see about adding a couple of other handicapped accessibility issues to be taken care of with that $1,350 that's left over. And the same thing with the,
Can I just stop you on that? Because I just have a question. Can they do that?
sure,
Is
sure.
is it in addition to the originally approved
No,
project?
No, the budget is flexible enough to include some other things. As long, you know, I don't think we're gonna go and buy a new refrigerator with that money.
No, well, I would, I don't know. See, I would like to know what that money's gonna be spent on before it's, oh, we just spent the money on something.
No, it isn't that. It would be like handicapped accessible swings. I believe that they were in the project, but they were never purchased, so it's something like that.
So you would say that it's in the scope of what was presented in the.
Yes, yes. And, you know, if you want me to come back with the specifics on what that's gonna be spent on, I will come back with the specifics on that in December.
All right,
On both of these.
I would appreciate that, just for transparency, if nothing
Sure,
else.
sure, no problem. And the other one has 1,783 in it, and so it's the same issue with that one.
This is the lift?
Yeah, the lift, and flooring, and there were a couple other things related to that. So on
But the ma-
both of these, it would be issues that are directly related to the work that was done, but they weren't necessarily spelled out.
No, well, you mentioned swing, and I'm looking at a ADA accessible bathroom and ramp. I don't see where
Well,
swing
that's
fits
the
into
dis-
that.
That's the description of it, but if you read the proposal,
Fair.
it's in there.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And then Lucille's Cottage Restoration Phase 2. This one, let's see, I don't have what's left in this one. I thought that this project used up all the money, but I'd have to follow up with that, because that one is been done.
So you think the project's done as well?
Yeah. I don't believe there's any more things to spend money on that were related to it or in the proposal, so I'll follow up on that one.
What's the, on the bottom there, it says, since the initial reports and plans were issued, a subsequent grant has helped facilitate additional engagement. I recommend the committee close this project.
Yeah, so we can close it.
I wonder if we got another list of closings at the end here. Oh, yeah, we do. All right. All right, Mike, you're off the hook for a minute.
Thank you.
All right, next one is a for 24-23 annual town meeting, Washington Hall paving and hydro seeding. The project applicant has not provided an update. The parking lot has been expanded and paved. Currently, there is ongoing discussion regarding the striping of parking spaces. The new projects and programs manager has proposed a striping plan that meets guidelines for number of spaces in regard to the area and driveway placement, while the applicant has expressed a preference for additional spaces to be painted. Then we have 4/24/23 town meeting, Article 24, Pines Skate Park. The consultant, Spawn Ranch, is finalizing construction documents with the project construction expected to begin spring 2025. An update will be forthcoming as we have a meeting scheduled in December. 4/24/23 town meeting, Article 26, Pines Tennis and Pickleball Court. The project is now substantially complete. The Highway Department will take care of the final grading and seeding around the edges of the court in spring 2025. We expect to receive the final project invoice by the end of the week, which will settle the remaining project balance. 4/24/23 town meeting, Article 28, planting and preserving historic trees. Mike,
Yes.
you're up.
Yes, so the work on this began in this year, actually. And so far, primarily what's been done is the work along the Washington Street buffer. Boulders were put in place, a dozen new trees planted, the area was cleared, picnic tables have been added. So that portion of it is almost done. There's a little bit more work that needs to be done with signage there. This project covered a lot of areas. Another area it covered was Elm Square and the trees there, part of developing a ongoing maintenance plan for Elm Square. A couple other things related to this is becoming a tree city and some educational related projects with trees. So it's really ongoing. I think that still $45,607 left in the project.
Has the Elm Square been started, or?
That, since the highway superintendent left, it's kind of,
In limbo?
yes, I know exactly where it's at because I made sure I spoke with Rennie before he left. So what I've got to do is engage with the new project manager on the highway department just to get that going for the spring.
All right, next
Mr.
up,
Chairman, question on that?
Yeah,
Question to the applicant. Mike, what's a historic tree and who determines it's historic?
we don't have a tree committee, and part of the, I believe, I don't have the proposal in front of me, but part of the project was to come up with some kind of tree committee, or that's part of becoming a tree city. So right now, unfortunately, it is kind of vague, but that's why the project would define better what's a historic tree.
And being a tree city provides benefits like,
Yeah, it makes your app, there's status to it. If you drive into West Newbury, they advertise they're a tree city. A town like Groveland should be a tree city since we're named Groveland, that kind of thing. And,
it provides access to grants too.
yes, and grants, right,
A follow-up.
yeah.
Mike, those, up at the park,
Yes,
the VZ Park, there were several trees cut down along Washington Street.
the ones on Washington
The
Street.
ones along Washington Street.
Yes,
They were vibrant trees. Well, why were they taken down and why weren't they historic?
I believe the only trees that they took down on Washington Street were dead or dying trees.
How many they cut down?
I think only about 3.
I have a question. I thought, because the title of this is Planting and Preserving Historic Trees, right?
Yes.
So I guess when I took that tour at VZ, they uncovered elm trees, American elm trees. So I guess I thought that was preserving historic trees.
Yes, because
And-
elm trees are
Right,
historic because they were wiped out
Right,
during
and they didn't
the,
know they were there until they cleared the invasive trees.
Yes, so
And
that's a
did the
good,
planting. So there's been a lot of improvement. So I'm assuming some of the money went to
oh, yeah,
that.
that was, I think about $30,000
for the
of that
grant,
project
'cause that was
went towards
huge.
that, yes.
So Ed, I think they're telling you that elm trees, American elm
Yeah.
trees, are in the category of special historical, we gotta protect them trees. You know, like Elm Park and that kind of thing.
Yeah, because they were devastated.
No, it's a
Who
it's a
determines
reason- yeah.
that they're historic and what is it? And,
Well, they were devastated by the Dutch elm disease. And remember, they had to take them all down, and they planted those crabapple trees, and then they were not in keeping with the Grand LA, which was the grant written to preserve or to bring back the center of Groveland with the land that still remained before it got wiped out by a wider street. And when they uncovered, they did the planting or the uncovering of, they took all those old trees up at VZ, that's when they found that we still had some existing, I think there are 3, Ed, I'm not sure if that's exactly right, but there are Dutch elm trees which are, I went to a place in Maine, and this whole town, Castine, Maine, has a tree person, and they're very careful, and they spend a lot of money on preserving those elm trees because they're so rare. So I don't know if that helps you, but they are very historic.
Good?
Thank you, that helped me.
All right. I'm going to move on to the 4/24/23 Annual Town Meeting, Article 31, Cemetery Monument Preservation from the former cemetery superintendent. A contract has been signed with Epoch Preservation, and work on the monument preservation is ongoing. The company recently requested an extension, explaining that some gravestones are in much worse condition than initially anticipated. While we are exploring options to continue work through the winter, such as tenting, heating, and completing certain tasks off-site, it is likely the final repairs will need to be extended into next season. The project is now expected to be completed by the end of 2025. The town administrator is overseeing the project. 4/29/24 Annual Town Meeting, Article 19, Community Garden. This project was initially proposed by Jan Dempsey with the stipulation that it be managed by the conservation agent. Since we currently do not have an agent, the responsibility has defaulted to my office, Rebecca. We have signed a contract with Family Farms, who have completed soil testing and obtained a quote for connecting to a water source. Kurt Habel from Family Farms is scheduled to meet with the Conservation Committee in November.
Yep, and they did.
4/29/24 Annual Town Meeting, Article 20, Washington Hall on the National Registry. Claire did explain this at the last meeting, that she had a paperwork issue, and some pictures she was going to send in. I can't imagine that there was that much movement in a month, but I'll certainly can follow up with her on an email. 4/29/24 Annual Town Meeting, Article 21, Pine Shade and Seeding. We are collaborating with the dog park, which recently received a private grant from the Stanton Foundation for the installation of a shade structure. Purchasing the structures in bulk is more cost-effective and ensures continuity in the park's features and design. Since we are not moving forward with the splash pad at this time, we will reduce the current proposal by one shade structure, which will result in funds being returned from the original request. We are working with the Highway Department on the placement of the structure and benches, and coordinating this with a recent donation of a bench by a community member in memory of their family. 4/29/24 Town Meeting, Article 22, Town Clerk Scan Docs. The project applicant provided an update noting the contract has been signed with eBiz. They will soon send the details on how to pack the books for transport and will arrange a pickup date after the November presidential election. The signed contract came in under the CPC allocation by approximately $2,755. 4/29/24 Town Meeting, Article 23, Perry Park Design Phase. Contract has been signed with WDG, and they have already started work on the project. The topographic survey of existing conditions is nearly complete, and they will soon begin developing the conceptual design for park enhancement. The project is expected to come in under the CPC allocation by approximately $2,600. 4/29/24 Annual Town Meeting, Article 24, Pines Parking Enhancement, and Article 25, Shanahan Field Parking Creation. We combine the projects from an implementation standpoint to increase their appeal to potential contractors as they would already be mobilized in the area. The project engineer has completed the design and construction documents, which were then put out to bid. Belco Landscaping was awarded the contract. A construction meeting was held on November 3rd, and Belco plans to begin work after Thanksgiving. They aim to complete the majority of the project, excluding paving, by spring 2024, weather permitting. Both sites are expected to be fully completed by spring 2025. This project is anticipated to come in under the CPC allocation by approximately $200,000. However, this estimate may change based on site conditions, and unforeseen underground issues could lead to change orders once construction begins. All right, so that being said, which was the one of these we were going to close? And the rest will stay.
Lucille's Cottage.
No, I don't think it was,
Were any of these closed?
No, I don't
They're
think
just-
any of
they're
there was,
just updates.
there was one that,
Well, we said Lucille's Cottage will follow up and close. That's the only one.
yeah, the Lucille's Cottage Restoration Phase 2. Since the initial reports and plans were issued, a subsequent grant has helped facilitate additional engagement. I recommend the committee close this project.
Mike, do you take issue with that?
No, we can close it.
All right, I will make the motion to close the 4/24/23 Annual Town Meeting, Article 30, Lucille's Cottage Restoration Phase 2, account 240182522300052, based on the town administrator's recommendation, and return the remaining balance of $752 to the general category.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Good work today.
Really putting it in.
Yeah, that was-
I need another coffee, something fierce. But let's not be lost. Rebecca put all this together. All I did was read it.
And just, again, so everybody knows out there that the total funds outstanding, 1.958000826, less the 752 would be in there, so that's what the outstanding is, the 1.9 million.
And if, additional housekeeping, I think Mike just sent an email about the match on the current situation was just reached out. So for those watching at home,
Yes.
what's that number?
Let's put a pin in that till we get to the other.
Oh, sure. Sorry.
Other items, just so we can just
No.
move on here. So next up is approval of the minutes from the 10/17/24 meeting.
Mr. Chairman, they look to be in order. I move for passage.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, and then
I
Elaine's.
didn't vote because I
Yep,
wasn't.
you're going to abstain, yep, perfect. All right, now other items not reasonably anticipated at time of posting.
Sorry, I jumped the gun on that.
That's all right.
Mike, go
Yes.
ahead.
So I have a few things, quickly though. So, yes, the Department of Revenue announced that we are getting a match of $186,512, which is 37.6% of what we collected in fiscal year '24, which was 496,262. And so that means that we have added to our total CPA funds $682,774. And which means also at town meeting next year, the 10% set aside for housing, historic, and open space would be $68,277. So that's good news, because we received the 25th highest in the state out of 197 communities, so we're doing pretty good.
Mike, how does that compare with historic matches, going back years? I know there was some we were up near 100%, there's other ones where we were 60, 70.
Yeah, it hasn't been 100% since maybe like.
Is that,
20
do they just do that to get you to bite the hook? They'll match you
No.
100% for the first couple of years, then you kick rocks?
No, the reason why it's gone down is twofold. One is there's now 197 communities. Going back, there were probably only, 100 communities. So particularly in the last 10 years, there's been a big increase in the number of communities. And then some of the communities like Boston and Cambridge are a lot larger, so they eat up more of the funds. The other thing is that the only source of the money was the Registry of Deeds funds that they collect a certain percentage of those CPA. The legislature has come in with other monies now and then, but they haven't come up with a steady source of it. So in the meantime, the numbers now fluctuate between 35 to 45 or 48%. And we get extra because we have CPA for 3%. And so communities with 2% or 3% have two other rounds of funding.
Yeah, I saw most of those were at like 18%.
So we do pretty well, really. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is I'd like to request our town administrator give us a complete update on the finances of the CPA fund. So exactly how much each money is in each category. We've got part of that tonight of the amount.
Yeah, I think what I'll ask her to do is reconcile all the stuff that we just did and then provide us with an update for the next meeting.
Yes.
Give her a minute to work on it.
The other question I'd like her to answer is about interest. Is interest on the CPA funds being categorized, and are we getting the interest? I believe that we are, but I've never seen it in any of the reports. Most of the reports that I've got go back before Rebecca was the town administrator. It was back to when we had a finance manager, and she had a different way of tracking things. So I'd like to see Rebecca give us better,
Absolutely.
just so we know where we're at. And, let's see, the last thing that I wanted to request, and again, these are just requests for the next agenda, is to have us work on a project scoring and funding criteria document that we can use to better evaluate every project evenly.
Do you have something, do you have a
Yes.
draft or something in mind?
Yes, there's one document here that's from Greenfield that they use, and I don't agree with everything that's on there, but it would give you can take this.
If someone else did most of the work and we just
Yes.
gotta fine tune it,
We don't have
I'm
to
down for that.
reinvent the wheel, yes. So we can, what I can do is
Can
finish
you
up-
email this to everyone?
Yeah, I'll email that. And then, I can update it a little bit, and then we can discuss it next time.
Yeah, that'd be excellent.
And while you're making notes, if you could email that, that note from the resounding no.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Yeah,
would
that
be
one.
helpful. Everybody knew what I was saying.
All right. Anybody else have anything? Elaine?
No, this was really interesting.
Leah?
Yeah. I like your smiles, too. That's great.
We're all trying to help.
Yeah.
Patrick?
I have nothing from,
I've got nothing else.
Anything else, DJ?
I'm happy, thank you.
Ed?
All set.
Linda?
Linda, you good?
Yes.
Anything else?
no, I'm fine.
All right.
I'll move to close the meeting at, looks like 8:02 PM.
Second?
All those in favor? So
Aye.
closed.
Do we know when the next meeting?
Hold on a second, Zoom is still up.